It's loading, I swear. Hello, everybody. I believe I am live. If I'm not live, that will make me sad. But I'm pretty sure I'm live. Excuse me. I forgot to get some water, but let's see how far we can go without. Because I am late. Mostly because I got home a bit late and I wanted to watch a little bit of K5RTO, who was playing ED Dangerous. Oh, speaking of ED Dangerous, this is K5RTO, who is hosting me for 12 people. I hope you guys like loading screens. That is the Vur that you can see in the background, which shows you how much of a nerd I am. Fun thing about this game that maybe some of you folks don't know. So the original conception of Stellaris was, so if you imagine, I will also give you guys a proper shout out of K5, but the problem if I do it right now is that I would be shouting out the man that you were just watching to you, which makes no sense. So we've got Hawkstoom, we've got Melemony, we've got K5RTO himself. Welcome everyone. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the origins of this game. So when Paradox got around to making... Yeah, who is K5? Who is he really? He's just a disembodied voice in my world. But, so... Paradox, as you folks probably already know, I think they still have a sale going on Steam. Let me just take a quick look. If you have been on the fence about Stellaris, and it's mostly positive rating, by the way, it is full price, so pay up. No. I figured the ham was reference to ham radio, but I did not know the K5 reference. Yeah, so Paradox Development Studio, who makes this game, and Paradox Interactive publishes it, the two companies are affiliated, they kind of had a little bit of a problem to solve when they made this game. So they have made Crusader Kings 2, they've made Europa Universalis 4, they've also made the games that came before those versions, Crusader Kings 1, Europa Universalis 1 through 4, in case that was not obvious. Then they've done Victoria, most recent of which is Victoria 2, which was done on one of their old engines, so a lot of people have been waiting for them to sort of revive that game. Victoria 3 is something of a meme amongst sort of Paradox fans. And then we've got Hearts of Iron 4 sort of closing out history. So the problem that Paradox had to face in Stellaris is that when they make games, they can rely on people's understanding of history. If you want to play, Louis XIV, you can play that in or Europa Universalis. If you want to play a what if Germany did not open another front with... oh, by the way, I should mention that I was playing Stellaris with K5RTO and Melemony on the weekend, and there was lots of references about influence, so if you guys would ever like... If you feel like taking a quick screenshot that you want to share inside of the chat, that is a-okay with me. Yeah, so if you think about it, if you've built a series of games, and especially games that sort of do a very good job of sort of having mechanics that reflect the time that they took place in. Yes, my lack of influence, we felt bad. I mean, I'm under 2,000 followers, right? Can't be that influential. The problem that we face with a game like Stellaris is that there's no history to rely on. And Paradox doesn't normally do sort of... They don't go to Games Workshop and, you know, get a license for Warhammer 40k. And then, you know, it's hard to go something like the Mass Effect route and build this science fiction world. Like, sometimes you just want to go and fly your spaceship and you know, get on with it. You don't need to worry about any kind of a lore. So they had a very clever solution to that, which was to make Stellaris, and to make Stellaris a massive science fiction sandbox in which you can tell all science fiction. So in my case, you know, I've got fanatic, egalitarian, xenophobic empire who happen to look like cats. But if you wanted, you could play the Imperium of Man from the Warhammer 40k universe inside of Stellaris, and that would be totally fine. There would be no negative consequence for doing so. You know, you could play the Foundation, or you could play... I mean, you could go straight Starship Troopers if you wanted. There's really no limit in terms of what you can... you know, what you can play as inside of these games, which to me makes the game so rewarding. But what's happened is you'll notice that the trailers, and I would say probably the Utopia trailer was the first one to really, you know, really go interesting places in terms of establishing a story. There have sort of been a number of trailers to come out now which have these major sort of world events. So in the case of the Apocalypse trailer, there was both the teaser and the trailer itself. There was sort of this destruction of a planet, and sort of a series of responses that have been built around it. All of it's really interesting, but apparently what's happened at Paradox now is there's a dedicated team to sort of maintaining the lore of this universe. Stellaris is amazing and arguably getting better with every update. I wouldn't even say arguably. There's actually one thing I'll say about the updates too that might be of interest to some people. It is an incredibly well done game. I should mention one thing that really caught my attention about Stellaris was I noticed that distant stars. So you'll notice that my resources are in the red again. I believe if I unpause the game, they will go back to their true values. But it seems like Distant Stars had some... I liked it, but it apparently had a bit of negative feedback. And they've actually updated Distant Stars to make it a little bit more in line with what people seem to be expecting. So I was very delighted by that. Of course, it means more stuff for us to play and discover. But yeah, it's also a game which is sort of continuing in development, and it definitely benefits from it. So, anyways, I've been at this for a while. Not all of this blue territory is mine, so these guys just happen to have a flag which is of a similar color. But we own the Valen polity. We have incorporated whatever the devil these people were. The Oaklar are currently a buffer zone for us. We took the Yilkahan. We also vassalized the new Cormanthe Khanate, formerly a great menace. And we're sort of in a little bit of a holding pattern right now. There are a couple of goals that I want to get out of the way. One great way to sort of start off, as I usually begin, going down through the outliner, seeing what I can manage is always a good place to go. Obviously, I'm going to be a little short on mineral resources, so I kind of need to wait for that. Expanded since last you saw. Well, again, some of these are vassals, so pretty much everything from this line we technically don't own. And then the Yildar Concordate is also off limits for us. And one thing that I did recently, I took a big hit to my production, but I did give sort of this whole sector down below here to the AI. And the main reason for that is they're going to be able to take advantage of all of these worlds, which I've already turned into Alpine worlds. So in this case, I'm really well positioned in terms of just letting the AI sort of take care of most of these things for me. I do have an orbital research mandate. Now that'll sort of take care of itself on its own because we're going to be building up these different systems. So we've got a few mysteries of the universe. We'll track them all on the map. But they're out of our range. They're kind of all... We could access one through the Yulder Concordat, but unless I want to be going through the Irabot Core or the Jubran United Nations, there's not a lot we can do about that. Now, the Irabot Core, normally what I would want to do is offer them protectorate status, but they don't really want to do it because they're hostile to me. And as it happens, they are associated with the Mishar Combine and the Jubran United Nations. So if I were to declare war on them... Oh, are they really on their own? Interesting. I thought the Federation would come to their defense, so maybe we can just gobble them up. I wouldn't be too upset if I went to war with the Jubran and the Mishar, but it would be... I don't know, it would be nice to know that I have fleets in the area to deal with them. So there's not too many areas where they can sort of take me on. What I might want to do is find the best way to get to their capital. And in my view, the best path. So here the Elgate is very well protected. But if I were to have a fleet in Unur, we can basically go out and around and take their capital right away. And then, of course, if we are going to war with the Federation, I'd also need to make the Mishar put under heel, but that's fine because they hate the Dar Collectors. So I'd basically be munching up planets along these ways. But if I'm going to go to war with them, I would probably want to have the Elgate available before anything. So. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself. There's definitely some things that I can do. So what my main focus on right now is going to be, one, making the budget balanced again. I'm also going to take a minute to make sure that I'm able to build things inside my systems. I believe my science ships are already on their way to exploring, so these two idle construction ships are idle for a reason. And I think priorities. Let's just see where my fleets are going and if I like their plan. Then we can start the action right away. So the second star order is on its way to Cybrex Alpha for for upgrades. Upgrades. All upgrades. And then in Viridian and Lub they are already upgrading. So what I'm probably going to wind up doing here, I'm going to wait for these guys to upgrade. We'll see what my actual fleet capacity is when we unpause. And as boring as it is, I think I'm actually going to just wipe out the Tuxian Raiders once and for all. It's a little more convenient that way. I should have planned that a little bit better, because this would have been perfect for... Well, while I'm at it, might as well survey this. But yeah, basically, we're going to be taking care of... we'll take care of these guys just because it'll eliminate the Marauder threat within our own borders. At that point, you know, I can really just sort of keep my fleets on the edges of space, ready to sort of take on these... Oh, this is interesting. But it is claimed by the Jubran. So I think the Jubran are actually a really good target for my next expansion, let's say. But yeah, right now I'm just going to simmer down for a little while, because what I would like to do is, one, I'd like to sort of close up all of these gaps in my territory. That will also mean eliminating any immediate threats. At that point I can sort of consolidate my fleets, and we'll maybe consider opening the Elgate finally to see what's on the other side. And at that point, once sort of the borders are secure, I can consider probably combining some of these fleets, and what I might wind up doing, because I've got these like 37k strength ones, and it's clearly, you know, above and beyond anything that the Learite can amass. I think I can see pretty deep into their territory, so I can't see their actual fleets, but looking at the, you know, looking at their capital, their defensive platform is 7, or sorry, their base is 7.1k, and that's with 12 defensive platforms, so it's not like it's not something that's going to keep me up at night is what I'm trying to say. So maybe just keep sort of an emergency fleet off to the side with them. Put maybe some fleet. The real ideal would be to have some fleets in place to take the Jubran from a few different sides, and then maybe one beside the Irabot core. And if we're able to gobble up the Irabot core right away without triggering a Blasi tribute from the Elephant Empire in exile. Thank you, Blasi. What I might wind up doing once we've... So the key to all of this is making sure that the inside of my empire is safe and sound. We still have a few little things like void clouds to clean up and whatnot. But the big thing that I think I'm going to try and do is just make sure that all of the holes are plugged up in my part of the galaxy. And then we'll position people in place so that if we do wind up starting a fight that brings everybody into a big war, I'm going to have sort of some contingency fleets in place, and then we can maybe worry about, you know, do I want to focus on the Jubran? Do I want to try and get a quick end by just annexing the Irabot core? We can take care of all of that. But the biggest problem that I have right now, I've got lots of fleets, but they don't move very quickly. So I need to rely on wormholes or L-gates, and this is the point now where having an L-gate open potentially will get me into the middle of Mishar space. I don't think the Jubran... Oh, the Jubran do have a location. So basically, all of my enemies except the Dar Collectors have sort of a backdoor into their empires. So... True Power Prowl. Powell. I feel like there's a lot that I need to do to get better at strategy games personally. But I do... One of the things I enjoy the most about streaming like this, so like obviously this is a really slow way to get started, but what it lets me do, so when I stream like this actually helps me get better at these games, because I get to say, okay, here are my priorities right now at the start. Here's what I'm going to try to accomplish. And then at the end of the stream, I'm able to say, did I actually accomplish what I was looking to do? A great example would be when this Khanate appeared. Sort of like, oh hey, let's go to war with the Oklar Empire, which will also include the Yilkahan Empire, and I'll put a token fleet over on the right-hand side of the galaxy to deal with the Great Khan. Well, as it turns out, the Great Khan went through the wormhole and started munching up my territories, which is not quite the done thing. So we basically had to do this like last-ditch, oh my god, how many fleets can we get into this area as fast as possible? We actually had to beat the Khan twice before we could finally take down the invasion. Now, because of the changes in terms of combat, we were still able to vassalize the Oklar Empire, but it was very likely that decision could have cost me that war. So, and I'm sure if I had it on a slightly higher difficulty level, it would have. But anyways, I have babbled on for a little bit longer. Low-level goals, fill up all the gaps. Mid-level goals, remove any hostiles from within my borders. Main target is the Tukshan Raiders because that will take the majority of my fleets. That will be contingent on me actually upgrading all of these fleets, of course. And then number 3, which I do hope to do tonight, is to finally open those L gates and see what's on the other side. So away we go. And
anomaly found.
There we go. The debris field in which AR-2002 is part of roils and swirls under the influence of unknown forces. Oh, that's wonderful to hear, True Power pal. I had a lot of fun doing that Cultist Simulator stream, and I'd forgotten. Lottie and Alexis pointed out my stream in one of the newsletters, which actually caused somebody to do a paid subscription to me, which was embarrassingly nice of them. So I love Cultist Simulator a lot. We'll be getting back to it when the new DLC comes out, by the way. That Cultist Simulator has been a remarkable source of growth for this stream, and I'm delighted to meet people who like that game so much, because I remember back when I was streaming it and I thought I was like doing the game a favor by like showcasing it on my stream, and then of course it becomes a big thing. So I was sufficiently humbled by how finding out I wasn't the only person who liked it. So Casual Nothing is also here from Cult. Oh my god, you guys are really kind. So yeah, as I'm as talkative on this game as I am with Cultist. By the way, for those of you who haven't who haven't played Stellaris or didn't know this, but like Cultist Simulator, Alexis Kennedy has a patch named after him in this one. It's 1.4, the Kennedy patch, because he wrote the Horizon Signal event. So if you've not encountered it, I think it might have actually been the first time he tweeted me too. If you've not played it, definitely open up Stellaris and see if you can get it to trigger. It is really wonderful. But yeah, and thank you guys. I know a lot of you do tend to lurk. I really appreciate it. It does get reflected in things like the viewer numbers and all of that. It's nice to get that kind of support, because obviously there's lots of places that you guys can watch. I believe there are some people being paid to play Stellaris right now. So the fact that you guys are hanging out with me, especially when I'm not doing a lot of gameplay, really does mean a lot. So thank you. The unrest on Naris has led to mounting calls from the locals for more pronounced military presence, both on their home planet and within the Valen polity as a whole. Alright, what went wrong here? So we're just at the 50% mark. I see. That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. Alright. I am going to have to pause this for a second because... Damn it. The robots have taken all of the the robots have taken all of the good good slave jobs. So what do I do about that? The ideal for me would be, so there's a long-term plan which I haven't really talked about yet. And one of the things, so here's a great example about how this game requires some balancing. Right now I'm sitting on 245 influence, but I'm generating 9 per turn. Now I want to kind of build up that stockpile because I have a whole bunch of little gaps that I want to take care of with my with these ships. But one of the more long-term plans that I have is to adjust my laws. So under the Valen, I can make a new template. So what I would want to do here is I would want to enable migration controls. So what I could do here basically is drag them wherever I wanted them. Basically, I could, I could move people around in an ideal way. So, what would work best for me is if I can take these creatures and distribute them. So, like right now, what's happening is I've got some slaves working these working these tiles. The problem is it's a planet entirely of slaves. And that's eventually going to cause some problems for me. So the best way is to just distribute these slaves across my empire and sort of cause my own species to outbreed them. But in order to do so, I kind of need my own population to get onto these planets and sort of, you know, start having babies, basically. So one of the ways that I can solve that is by adjusting the migration controls, but the consequence of that is that the Electoral Freedom Watch wants free movement, which I would be removing, and I believe it would make the Valen Preservation Movement somewhat happy. Yeah, I think if I change the core world exclusivity, maybe it's a... Oh no, it's resettlement, I believe. But anyways, so essentially running... balancing all of these demands, what I'm doing right now, there's going to be kind of this master stroke where for 10 years... I'm going to redistribute all my populations to where I find them to be optimal within my empire, and then I'm going to switch it back so that I can maximize my influence. But I don't want to do that right away, because if I am lowering the rate at which I'm gaining influence, then I'm not going to be able to plug up all of these holes. And the small penalty that I get for the unrest at the moment is not as big as the foregone resources of expanding out rapidly. So in this case, I believe this unrest I'm sitting with. The one thing I could do is declare martial law, but even then, that's going to cost 85 influence, which I don't really want to. So in this case, I think I'm just going to have to kind of live with the consequences, as much as that saddens me to do so. I could potentially do... do we have a slave processing center? Yeah, we do. So that already reduces the slave unrest. But yeah, it's a sad fact, but I'm just gonna have to live with it for now. But we do have an eventual plan of just sort of manipulating the demographics of my empire to be able to deal with the nonsense. All right, kinetic battery, a very long-range artillery capable of hauling powerful rounds over extreme distances with a large degree of accuracy. Okay, so synthetics, really cool, but I think I want to be a little bit more secure before I bring on any dangerous technology. In this case, I'm pretty far ahead from most of my peers, so I don't feel like... There are definitely some benefits to researching the dangerous technology, but the biggest thing for me right now is that I can already terraform my planets to habitable ones. Most of this stuff I'm generally okay with. So one of the things that's interesting about dangerous technology is you sort of face this risk. It's like, okay, what if the other guys get it before me? You know, we'll lose, which is obviously something that happens in history as well. But I'm kind of far ahead of everyone but the Fallen Empires in terms of technology, so I don't feel that much of a pressure to advance that technology, you know, in a way that on another playthrough I might. So in this case, we'll just go for advanced sort of physical weaponry in the case of the rail cannon. Okay, Gauser will let us upgrade. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to worry about upgrading my...
Construction complete.
Lacking the minerals. Oh, that's right, I'm lacking the minerals because of the... the fleet upgrades that are happening. So we should be able to afford the crew quarters now.
Construction complete.
Can I afford Titan assembly yards? No, I cannot. Or I should be able to. Dimensional Pocket. The ISS Ka Aranis never made it all the way to AR-2002 to study the anomalies surrounding it. The ship, along with science officer Tabo, son of Satu, and crew, blinked out of existence as it was navigating the debris field, and then reappeared minutes later. Tabo, son of Satu, reports that they found themselves briefly in some extra-dimensional space. External viewpoints. Pope Micelle, thank you very much for that follow. Revealed that they were surrounded by countless ships of alien design, suspended in a seemingly endless void. Before the crew could get their bearings, the vision abruptly faded and they found themselves back in regular space. However, roughly half of the crew are missing. Science officer Tobo, son of Satu, speculates that they may have been selectively trapped by some unknowable mechanism in that strange space. Now, I don't think I've seen the end of this. I've seen this happen a few times, but if I've gotten to the ending of it, I haven't been able to...
Hostile Xeno fleet engaged.
I haven't witnessed the madness that occurs. Alright, did we lose anyone? One raider. But this is my slush fleet, so I'm okay with that. They're on a cleanup job. The missing members of the ISS Ka Aranis' crew, thought lost to the dimensional rift, have reappeared. They hailed us from aboard an unknown vessel, not entirely dissimilar to our own science ships, idling close to where the ISS Ka Aranis originally experienced the dimensional disturbance. They claim to remember nothing of their time outside our dimension, aside from a vague awareness of having been away for some time. They wish for nothing but to return to service under Science Officer Tobo, son of Satu, and they intend to surrender their ship to Valen authorities. So we can say very well, or the safety of the Valen people hinges on their destruction. We will say very well. Now, I'm kind of curious about my leaders.
A new technology.
We are at the cap, so I can't really make use of that science ship. Gateway travel. The ability to reactivate derelict gateway stations that can be found scattered throughout the galaxy has the potential to dramatically shorten travel times. This is great news for us. Gateway construction is also huge. So again, I'm going to avoid the Sapient Combat AI, even though it's relatively inexpensive. In this case, gateway construction's really tempting. I think I'll go for it, but I don't have ridiculously high expectations for it. Okay, got repairs and whatnot. I'm happy with those. While we are at it, I have been idle with my construction fleets, so let's get you building a research, or not a research outpost, building infrastructure. This gentleman can work on a bunch of mining stations, except he can't because he can't afford it, so let's go for more modest gains.
Anomaly found.
This barren and lifeless world is showing signs of once having supported a biosphere. We will research that. I'm sitting on this Ascension perk. The main reason for that is the Unity I'm generating is a little slow. I'm still waiting on my full discovery line. So if it really comes down to it, if things get a little scary, I would sort of like to do, where are we? I have the option of the Colossus project, but I don't want to push that button quite yet. So I'm gonna hold back for the time being. Thank you very much, Johnny, for the retweet. I don't know if you are here.
Complete.
Chat's been a little idle, but I think that's mostly because of lurkers. So if you have been typing something and I haven't replied, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure that's just because it's been calm. The agreement we signed giving you access to our data links has run its course. Would you like to extend it for another 10 standard years, or do your researchers no longer require the information we offer? I'd definitely like to extend the deal. 10% bonus when I'm already a leader in science. I can tell that from...
Our ships have been upgraded.
These. So this is notice here that the Fallen Empire... Hey, Johnny, how you doing? The Fallen Empire is inferior in fleet power to us. Terraforming candidate discovered. Our detailed survey of Scormax 4 has revealed that it may once have supported life in the distant past. There are significant deposits of frozen water at the polar ice caps and beneath the planet's surface. The existence of valley networks suggests that the water may once have flowed freely. The energy costs would be daunting, but we do have the technology to gradually terraform this planet into something that would support life again. Johnny Bigheart, and as True Power Powell pointed out, that is the Twitch baby. I had not heard that term until I watched LG stream, but Johnny Big Time, my favorite caster on Twitch. I feel bad saying so because K5 is in here, but there are many great casters on Twitch. I'll actually, you know, I'll get the shout-outs out of the way really quick because there's definitely some new and friendly faces in here. I'll slow the game down a little bit for this rather than going through, but let's do this in order. So K5RTO basically hosted us straight out of the gate. Very grateful for that. And one of the things that... So K5 is the first person I've played sort of a proper multiplayer, not just two-player, but like, okay, everybody, we're sitting down and we're gonna play some Stellaris. First person to do that. Melemony was there as well, and a couple of other figures who I don't think stream, or I don't know them as streamers. But I originally found K5, or rather he found me through a Surviving Mars stream. He runs The Convergence. He does a lot of science fiction based games. So this could be Surviving Mars, it could be Elite Dangerous, it could be No Man's Sky. And of course it's not just limited to that. I think the first thing I watched him play was Planet Coaster, as it happens. But an incredibly positive streamer, somebody who has been almost embarrassingly kind and supportive of my own stream. And again, I think one of the things that I really like to point out about K5 stream is that it's one thing to host people. I like hosting people a lot. I like shouting out people a lot. It's great to sort of see these communities come together and all of that. But K5's channel really is a great example of a chat that reflects very well on the broadcaster that is bringing it across. Obviously, if I were to host a bunch of people and the chat was very unruly, or just generally cause problems, that's not necessarily going to reflect all that well on me. But on the other hand, when somebody comes in and it's a remarkably positive chat and they're they're fun to be around, they contribute a lot, or at the very least they just give someone a shot, because that's not an easy thing to get on Twitch sometimes. Everyone kind of wins from that, but especially the streamer who kind of conducted the raid does, because again, it's a reflection of their community and sort of their casting themselves. And I can definitely tell you from some experience, the Ka Aranis is currently not doing anything. My bad. What do I want to do with you? Where'd the scientist go? Sorry, I was very confused for a moment. Anyways, K5, in addition to just being a good caster in his own right, is someone who has been very attentive to this channel. Somebody who's been very supportive of it. It's definitely somebody, if you guys like Stellaris or games like that, he's a really great guy to sort of hang out with while those games are being played. Because obviously games like No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous tend to have some times where they're not necessarily slow, but they're definitely, like the atmosphere is the bigger component. Is maybe the better way of putting it. So K5's somebody who's really friendly and does a great job of sort of making you feel involved while you're watching a game like that. And I can definitely say, like, having watched him play those games, I feel a little more compelled to sort of pick up No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous and play them a bit more often. So he's definitely somebody I can give a strong recommendation for, as well as the tireless efforts of Melemony, who is a remarkably, again, generous with her time as well as her words, very generous fan of the stream, my stream, as well as K5's, and does an absolutely bang-up job moderating for him. On top of that, I would like to take a moment and talk about Johnny Big Time. Oh, I also have the power to do the shout-out command, so... Johnny Big Time is, again, a favorite of mine on Twitch. He is, it's very easy for me to say of both of these people that they're remarkably friendly, but I think it's also important to say why you might be entertained by them, because again, I don't think a streamer will ever feel that they're sort of guaranteed or they're owed your view, but I can definitely say that a streamer is always grateful to be given the opportunity, and so I try to give you guys as much of a reason as possible to check out their stuff. Now, Johnny Big Time actually, you know what? I know I do this a lot with Johnny, but it's worth it. Johnny has been playing the new Spider-Man, and it's been great. One of the reasons why I have enjoyed Johnny playing Spider-Man so much is that he obviously really likes the game. Oh my god, no, stop. But what I think is so great about Johnny's Spider-Man stream is he always finds the fun in a game. And again, he's always friendly, he's a born entertainer. He's always got like something really clever to say. But what's particularly great about his Spider-Man playthrough is he is clearly having the time of his life playing Spider-Man. Like, I can't quite describe what it's like to watch him play this game, but like, I wish I could love games as much as Johnny loves playing just about anything, but especially Spider-Man. He is someone who easily could sell games for, on Twitch for a living. Like, any community manager that would not consider giving him a key to sell their game is missing out on a secret weapon. So here's a fantastic example of Johnny Big Time in his natural habitat playing Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man. Can't hit me 'cause I'm 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 Spider-Man. Spider-Man. 'Cause I'm Spider-Man. Can't hit me 'cause I'm Spider-Man. And the inch really close and I give you a pop. And I jump away and I'm Spider-Man. 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 And a quick pop and I'm Spider-Man. 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 'Cause whenever a spider can't hit me now 'cause I'm Spider-Man. Spider-Man and a quick man. Boom!
There's a little bit more to that, but that's where I originally intended to end the clip. And if you think that that's just a one-off, if you go to Johnny's clips, and I strongly recommend that you do so, you can also learn, all right, well, apparently they don't want me to go to any of these. Maybe all? He is going to be coming back to Titanfall.
I have my Titan. I'm gonna try to drop my Titan on Foxtrot. Let's do this. Let's drop it. Where's Foxtrot? I want to drop my Titan right on top of this guy. Oh, please fall. Please get him. Please get him. Please get him. Yes! Oh, I got you, bitch. All right. We're good.
So yeah. I haven't really talked about Johnny so much as I've just shown him off, but honestly, he is larger than life. He has got an amazing personality for this kind of for games. He makes every game the most entertaining thing that you could be watching at the moment, and I've particularly enjoyed his Spider-Man playthrough because as much as I like to joke about how everybody was upset about the puddles, Johnny, again, like I said, like, if he is not loving the hell out of that game, it's a complete surprise. he is the best actor that I've ever known. Like, I just get the impression that he is having the time of his life playing Spider-Man through and through. And there's something just so wonderful about seeing people get such pure enjoyment out of a game, that he's honestly someone that I'll never get tired of watching for that reason. So, two wonderful streamers who I strongly recommend that you check out. Esteemed President Etha, daughter of Noga, a decade ago the Valen polity pledged to support the artisan troupe, and so you have. The time of your patronage is coming to an end, but we would be remiss not to ask. Would you care to renew your subscription to the finest arts and crafts in the galaxy? It's a deal, because 10% Unity is...
Construction complete.
kind of the whole reason I'm... I'm doing this. Okay, so... we've received some rather troubling news regarding the deteriorating health of Governor Velk, son of Tig. His haggard appearance makes it look as though he's aged nearly 20 years. The burden of duty can be a heavy thing to bear. And he now has the substance abuser trait. So one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to manage the sector just to incorporate this here. This is so that the sector pays for this upgrade rather than me. And in the meantime, I'm just going to start building some star bases. Again, just trying to expand out to as many planets as I can.
Our ships have been upgraded.
Okay, so... where do I want to put these guys? I think we'll get them in position for
Our ships have been upgraded.
cleansing the galaxy of the Tuction Raiders. He was indeed. Maybe not drugs. He might be an alcoholic, but... Okay, so before I go further, the second Star Order, it looks like they are down a destroyer. Yeah, that's exactly what they're down. So I'm going to take the Cybrex station and build a replacement destroyer before I send these guys out to pwn some noobs. Oh, hang on.
Our ships have been upgraded.
They also need a pair of corvettes. But we're just shy of the requirements, so...
System survey complete.
there we go. Okay, so first Star Order, similar story. Wanna get them,
Colonization efforts
I'm just
begun.
going to take them out to Akamar. And as I get my... oh, hello. General Sagu, daughter of Verp, has died at the age of 116. Now, I don't have any plans for using my army, so I'm not going to hire him right away. Or a new one right away. And again, I'm just going to wait for... I'm going to wait for all of these to... I'm going to wait for all of these fleets to be at their max values before I send them to deal with the Tuction Raiders. Due to major clerical error, parts of the Pergamon colony have fallen behind in infrastructure maintenance and accommodation services. The people live in rather bleak conditions and will not tolerate it for long. Remedying these problems will cost us time and effort. So we can say unfortunate, which will gain sprawling slums in an industrial wasteland, or we can say we must invest in this area. Unfortunately, this will cost us 100 influence, which is not good, 500 energy credits, which is peanuts. But we do gain 1,000 Unity for it. And in this case, Unity, that's basically half a month's worth of Unity, and I do kind of want every little bit I can get. So even though it's about half of my influence, I am generating 9 a turn. So if you think about it, like, I get a lump sum
Construction complete.
of half a month's worth of Unity in exchange for a little over 10 months worth of influence. It kind of seems like a bad trade, but the biggest thing here is that the rate at which I'm going to be building everything else, there's other things that I can do to sort of offset that cost. That'll maybe make sense in a little bit, but basically the rate at which I am building these stations is not
Incoming
so
transmission.
fast that I need to worry about hitting a cap on my influence. All right, what do you want? 506 minerals in exchange for 506 food? I mean, I guess? The new Kormathi Khanate would like to propose the following trade. My growth will be slower for 2 months while I do that, but seems like a decent enough deal. You guys getting hungry over there?
Anomaly found.
This barren and lifeless world is showing signs of once having supported a biosphere, so as I expand out, that'll be helpful, but we're going to be waiting a while on that. think we can speed it up again, seeing as I'm done the shoutouts. So again, this is going to be a little idle for a while, just because I
Our
am going to be
ships have been
building up my
upgraded.
I'm going to be building up my fleets. But for now, we'll take everybody over to Akamar so we can deal with the. Hey, Lazy Bear, how are you doing? Oh, Second Star Order has also got their people.
Colonization efforts begun.
So, Fourth Star Order is going to need some replacement ships. Fifth Star Order needs its upgrade still. Our detailed survey of Bindor 2 has revealed that it may have once supported life in the distant past. There are significant deposits of frozen water at the polar ice caps and beneath the planet's surface. The existence of valley networks suggests that the water may once have flowed freely. The energy costs would be daunting, but we do have the technology to gradually transform this planet into something that would support life once again. Doing very well. It's always a good day when I'm doing Stellaris, so...
Construction complete.
I'm starting to have a little difficulty keeping track of
Our
everyone to
ships have been upgraded.
give them new things to do. I don't even know if I want to give these over to the sector yet, because it's just giving up resources rather than getting them to expand.
Construction
I might
complete.
consider holding off on giving them more stuff. So we're still waiting on the 7th Star Order to deal with these guys. So I'm just going to build some infrastructure. In the meantime, 4th Star Order, what do you need? It looks like you are down one
We have
cruiser.
mastered a new technology.
That can't be all. It's a cruiser and a corvette.
System survey complete.
So one cruiser, one corvette. As for our science, new command limit. Gradual adaptation to the realities of deep space combat allows us to effectively coordinate larger maneuvers. So I need to redesign my template. I'll try and work that out as the game goes by, because I want to use these guys for proper invasions and such. But under new research, I can bring it a xenomorph army or improve my naval capacity. Or I can improve my food even further. Let's go for naval capacity for now. So again, like I said, this is the slush fleet. There's not a whole lot that I want them to do other than clean up some nuisances. So nobody else can access this part of the galaxy. I'm going to send them to deal with these very remote mining drones. And we've got our Gauss cannon, so that's going to be a ton of upgrades we need to do at some point. This updated version of the old coil gun design is even more destructive than the latest railgun designs. It is capable of launching projectiles with incredible accuracy and speed. So, I can do whirlwind missiles. I think that's the lowest cost. Giga cannon just sounds awesome. How long does it take? 37 months versus 31? Well, I mean, half a year, and I get to say I have a Giga cannon. If I wasn't such an absolute, my tastes as a ruler are that of, a teenage boy. So, essentially, what happened there was, let's throw in some upgrades. Essentially, if I possessed a little bit more sense, what I probably would have done would be, you know what, I should have built a fleet
Construction
academy.
complete.
Because those ships that I'm building are not going to have as much experience as they otherwise would have. And for some reason, the 4th Star Order... Okay, now
Our
they're full up.
ships have been
so
upgraded.
we're going to send them to Akamar as well. And it's the 5th Star Order is the last one that isn't done upgrading. They should be done in just a moment. In just a moment.
Our Our ships have been upgraded.
Excellent. This is just going to be,
Our
cleaning,
ships have been upgraded.
cleaning out some undesirables. It'll
We
take
have
us a while
claimed
to
a
get
new
there.
world for our people.
So one of the things I'm going to do to try and improve mobility in
Our
my
ships have
empire
been
as
upgraded.
well is start taking care of these regular gates. So at Larbo, which has a defensive platform, let's start with that gateway. Minnock is less important because it's so close to Larbo, but I do eventually want to open as many gates as I can. I also need to
Construction
explore this
complete.
wormhole at some point. All right, this is another dilemma, but as you can notice, we're still above water, so it's another chance for an additional kind of an additional investment
Construction complete.
in Unity, although it's unfortunate that we needed to pay that twice, because I do still want the influence. And what are you not doing? Let's get you... So I don't like these holes, to be honest, but... Oh, actually, let's get you to take Bindor first, and then Drisk.
Construction complete.
There'll be a pretty good argument for expanding the borders so that these guys
System
can...
survey complete.
So these guys can colonize. But I don't think we can expand any further for the next little while. So this guy is going to be focused on infrastructure, I think.
System survey complete.
Let's find some parts of the Empire that haven't been touched. Of course they've all been. I'm running... My bureaucracy is too
We
efficient.
have claimed a new world for our people.
Okay, at this point I'm just going to start helping, helping the sectors build up their... Yeah, that technology decision that I made before... Oh, I think I screwed up. Regarding the Giga Cannon, what I probably normally would want to do is improve the hull of my
Construction
ships.
complete.
This is because the ships in Stellaris do have experience, so if you do a better job of keeping them alive... Oh! This is going to be a very special moment for my Empire. Building on what remains of the ruined ring world in the Cybrex Alpha system, our engineers have managed to fully restore one of its sections. The new biosphere had to be created more or less from scratch by our initial planetologists, but it is now considered stable and ready for habitation. Excellent. So I'm going to need a ridiculous amount of mineral resources to finish the job, but my goal is to make this my new capital. I prefer placement here because that'll give bonuses to these 3 tiles, whereas here I'm only giving a bonus to the minerals. Okay, what are you up to? Nothing good, it looks like. Oh, did I mess it up? Nope, we're good. Oh,
We have claimed a
this
new
is my new
world for our
colonized
people.
world. Colonized world. Let's give you a monument to work on. And I'm going to build droids to work the mineral resources.
Construction complete.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these 2 out because I'm going to need at least 1 Valen
System
to work
survey
on
complete.
a Paradise Dome.
Construction complete.
I do sort of want to save up so that I can build up one of the new ring sections, but I do sort of want to prioritize
Construction complete.
these gateways first.
Construction complete.
These are relatively inexpensive, so I don't mind queuing a few up ahead of time. What about the rest of my... Oh my god, so many construction ships not doing anything.
System survey complete. Anomaly found.
It seems Abshala 3 is lacking the hydrogen and helium to be classified as a proper gas giant, and is in
Incoming
fact an
transmission.
ice giant. What do you want? Minerals for food? Works for me. Okay, what are you doing? Let's get you building mining stations. Science ship, I can't really get to do anything unless I have a new leadership slot. I'll worry about that later. Alright. I'm telling you, it's hard being the boss. Give you a naval logistics office, and I feel like I should... Oh yeah, I don't have the trading hub because I haven't colonized it yet. 6-star order, what are you doing? Okay, you're sitting at Akamar. That's where I want you. So what we're going to be dealing with on the first wave is a combined, what have we got? 8.7, 3.5, so that's
Construction
12.2, 16.5, so we're dealing with, let's say, 18, oh hang on, 18k, did I count that 3.8? We'll say 21k. Sensors are reporting a number of possible points of interest within the dense debris field surrounding AKU 9019. Research it. Okay, let me just try that again. 8.7, so 12. Oh, well, this will be. I just add these two. So that's a straight 13,
Construction
16.5,
complete.
23, 20.3, and change. So we're dealing with basically 21k. So
Incoming
really, this
transmission.
one fleet on its own could handle that on its own, but we
Construction complete.
will tilt it in the other way. Abshola 3 is not only an ice giant, but an ice giant made up of very unusual ices. There are pockets of Zro trapped in within reach of the upper levels of the planet's atmosphere. So, Melemony, if you are wondering, based on the multiplayer game, when you have sort of a hyperpower sitting next to you, if you go to your contacts menu and you think that when the planet next to you, where are we? Who are these guys? They're the Lyrite, my neighbors. All right, so if you think this is what your sort of your relative power looks like to that player, this is not the worst idea in the world. Coordinator Torba Murok offers this gift, given freely to the Valen polity in the interest of continued friendship. 200 energy credits and 14,040 minerals. I mean, just imagine what resources they have to allow them to create such wealth. We might have to send some goodwill ambassadors over there to see what's going on. Anyways, they gave me enough to buy myself a new ring section, so that was nice of them. Unfortunately, you can't do more than one. Oh, I'm paused. But then I'm also going to be picking technology. So, interstellar logistics. Amateurs talk about tactics, professionals study logistics. By ensuring our fleets are regularly and efficiently supplied, we can increase the number of vessels that we can effectively support. So I can increase habitability, that's less important. Sector limit's kind of nice, but I'm nowhere near the sector limit, so I don't need to worry so much along those lines. So either I can boost my habitability or I can boost my command limits and such. Let's do the command limits. Mostly because I just want to... I've got a bunch of capacity that I'm not currently using, so... Silent Shout. We have discovered the fossilized remains of a gargantuan gastropod, matching no previously encountered life form, trapped within a huge block of ice circling AKU 9019. Its eyes glare fiercely ahead, tentacles reared and muzzle twisted into a gruesome grimace, as if locked in a silent shout. This creature displays no apparent sign of sapience. Despite its eerie visage, our scientists believe that if domesticated, the creature could make a valuable asset. They recommend extracting some of its DNA for cloning. So, clone it? Space this abomination, or it belongs in a museum. All right,
Situation log
we'll clone it.
updated.
It's probably going to turn into Jurassic Park, but you know what? That's fine. Okay, so we've got... This is going to be enough to deal with... This is going to be enough to deal with the Tuction Raiders. So in this case, we've got Corey, Milv, and we should have a third... Alright, Thub. So the three wise men are now going to show... They're going to show the Tuction Raiders what civilization looks like. One nice thing about this approach is that I'm going to be working on sort of the weaker levels, so this will give the other fleets some time to get to Akmar. I should have my full navy ready to take care of the sort of the central hub of the Tuction Raiders, which is a fairly considerable target. We've successfully cloned a healthy population of gargantuan slugs from the fossilized DNA. They reach maturity within weeks, weighing up to 20 tons, and have developed a primitive level of sapience, responding to simple one-syllable commands. Though they have yet to show any violent tendencies, they produce a thick toxic mucus when vexed, and their hue seems to shift with their mood. The research team has named them Azizans for the hissing sound that they make when they communicate among themselves. So we can say that they will make excellent laborers. That is spectacular. They belong in a zoo, which will gain the alien pets. We could use them in the army, or they are horrendous, dispose of them now. I'm going to go belong in a zoo. Because we're a little bit closer to the end game, I may not actually... Well, hang on. So, I can claim 150 right now, or divide that by... I mean... If I overestimate it and I say it's worth 200, let's say, so that I worry about sort of the discounted value of that, I'm basically looking at like 50 months. So as long as I think I'm going to be around for more than 50 months, I suppose the alien pets is the better option. And then I mean, I can say one pop is created, but say they belong in a zoo.
Xeno station engaged.
Alright, we'll slow this down so we can enjoy exactly what it looks like when we bring civilization. The camera's not wide enough. That was alarmingly fast. The other fleet didn't even arrive on time. Alright, well, we'll go back to Akmar just so that we can heal up.
Construction complete.
We've got some construction ships that are idle, so let's get you to build an outpost. We'll get you to build... Oop, gateway reactivated. Our scientists have successfully restored power to the ancient gateway in the Larbo system. Despite its age, the device has formed a stable subspace conduit that is fully traversable. The probes we sent through have confirmed that the activation of this gateway has restored power to a second identical device. For now, these two linked gateways are the only ones that are, accessible to us. But more inert devices can likely be found elsewhere. In the future, we may even be able to construct entirely new gateways and systems of our choosing. So I didn't get that technology just because it strikes me as another big batch of infrastructure projects, which I don't want to do right now. But that is something I need to consider. I'd like to have this... I don't really have a lot of other things to do with this construction ship right now, so I'm going to sit them outside. And this guy is going to build a starbase. But I do eventually want to build starbases in these areas, so I should get a science ship working on that at some point. Hopefully these guys heal up.
Colonization efforts begun.
We'll just wait for the second star order to... Alright, so now we've got a few more ships. Looks like we still have a few people who are on their way. Now what we're going to do here is a very similar maneuver. We're going to take out this area, which should have roughly the same strength. It's maybe a little bit more, so 11-4. We're looking at 20... 21... I mean, I'd say for safety 35k, so technically one of these fleets could handle it all, but it's not the best way to engage them. We'd prefer not to lose ships if we can.
System
And
survey complete.
these two guys should be in place in time to take on this nonsense. And obviously we'll make sure that all the music's super dramatic when that comes up. Alright, this should be a colony ship on the way to Cybrex, should it not?
Xeno station engaged.
Looks like it's all... Oh, I feel bad about that. Please cancel that order. I don't know... Well, you know what? It's already built, so I'll send it to Cybrex. How are you doing, FMT 527 Gaming? Well, I just own a little. And Colt Diggity, how you doing? Sorry, I didn't see... I don't have a raid message for the... Oh man, the war's already over. Okay, so we lost a destroyer and a corvette. We'll need to build those later. Sorry, I didn't see that you came with a whole bunch of people. How are you doing? I'm assuming you must have been playing Stellaris yourself. The letter B, Colt sent you here to learn some Stellaris. Well, we are a fair distance into the game, but it's definitely definitely something I can do my best to to show you through. And what were you? Hey, the Eyes of Sin. How you doing? And good to see Sigir. Great to see you. I will actually particularly... oh, hang on. Sorry. Just got distracted for a minute. You're actually playing Spider-Man, but you were telling these guys I'm a ton better than you are at Stellaris. Well, I know this sounds... Okay. I'm not always fond of the sort of... I won't say false positivity, but I don't like the reflexive answer of like, "No, you're fine." But Stellaris, in my view, is best thought of as a big sandbox. So as long as you are enjoying it and you are... Actually, you know what? I should probably be explaining these space cats to all you fine people who've come in and have come on the raid. But yeah, like one of the things I love the most about Stellaris is because I feel comfortable enough with the game, I get to try different things. Like the thing that's great about Stellaris is that you get to write all of your science fiction stories. You know, if you want to try something, you can. So for those of you who are curious about what's going on with this species, this is a species known as the Valen polity, also known as the slightly racist space cats. The Valen polity is founded on highly democratic principles and very closed minds. Veilgar is home to an active public discourse that follows highly predictable and conservative lines of thought. Despite this, it has also produced some of the galaxy's finest scientists. When confronted with new concepts, a Veilon will process the thought to make it orthodox, but once it has done so, few can deny the tremendous feats of ingenuity that result. The creatures from Veilgar present the galaxy with a paradox, a race of highly capable scientists and explorers who mistrust and devalue everything that they find. So one of the things that I loved the most about this particular... So basically I wanted to say, it's like, how would I represent a cat in Stellaris? And some of the ways that I did this, I like this idea of doing a society that was very egalitarian, so it was democratic, but it didn't necessarily carry with it all of the normal desire. So like normally when you play a democracy in a game, you believe in, you know, a diverse population, freedom of thought, you know, freedom of expression, so on and so forth. And I'm like, well, what if these guys like had democratic institutions? What if they had, you know, by any standard measure, were a very, basically the good guys in most games. But the challenge is that they just had a set of attitudes that were totally repellent to someone who likes, who would normally adopt those institutions. So I made them intelligent, I made them traditional, again representing that conservatism, but I also made them slow learners. So this is the idea that it takes them a while to get going. It's kind of like a machine that needs to be warmed up before you go. They're really smart at research, but they have like a warm-up period. And then the way that they structure their society was fanatic egalitarian, but xenophobic. And what was great about this is the very first things we ran into in the galaxy were basically dangerous and unhealthy. And we found this Cybrix homeworld, which is basically like this robot species that tried to wipe out all life. So what's basically happened, the whole story of the Valen polity has been that we've been taking over the galaxy precisely because we keep encountering more and more evidence that if left to their own devices, everything else in space is going to kill us. Oh yes, and then we killed a Leviathan, and as much as I really wanted to study it, I thought it was much more appropriate for the cat to take a trophy and sort of leave it on the doorstep. So we did that too. Okay.
System survey complete.
I've got unemployment problems. Caught in an orbit around F-2976-1 is a small unknown object moving at such a high speed, it beggars belief. Now, Colt Diggity, I gotta say, if you have not watched Johnny Big Time, he has been playing Spider-Man as well, and he has very clearly been having the time of his life, so I have to assume that this is the same for you as well. But I'm assuming that you've been enjoying it. For those of you who just joined us, Colt Diggity was kind enough to host us with, I think, over twice the number of people who are watching. So I think one of the challenges is there are a lot of very talented people who host me. But one of the challenges is that I am kind of boring. So if I'm not your kind of thing, I completely understand. Thank you very much for supporting Colt through through joining him on that raid, but I also sometimes understand that I'm not for everyone, so no hard feelings if you go and find something a little more action-packed. And Spider-Man is amazing. You finished the story tonight? You must have been just... It can't be that short. You must have just burned through it. Well, that's always delightful to hear. But yeah, I don't even mean that in a like a self-deprecating way. Like, it's just
we have mastered a new technology.
I basically, the one thing I don't want to do is crap on people's hosts of me and say it's like, bah, you don't know what a good stream is. It's just one of these cases where I love the opportunity to entertain a new group of people. Not everybody's necessarily going to like my stuff, so I usually keep that in mind and try and find some ways to make it easy for people to decide whether or not it's for them. About 45 hours in total since Saturday. You need sleep. Well, I'll gladly put you to sleep. All right, we've unlocked the Giga Cannon, which I only got for its name. And Eyes of Sin. By the way, you know what? I want to take a minute here. So there's 2 Kickstarters I'd like to let you guys know about. I was writing a blog on this one, but one thing is Nighthawks. So for those of you who asked me when I found Cultist Simulator, how do you find games like this? Usually people tell them about me. So, there. That might be interesting to some of you. That's all I have to say about that for now. But, where's the Horizon Zero Dawn Kickstarter? If you good people ever wondered what Eyes of Sin sounds like, I believe she did the narration for this. When you get to the endgame, do you focus fleets on battleships only or still mix them? You feel like your mid-game fleets and end-game fleets are where you struggle. So, Colt Diggity, I have to be honest with you, I don't put a ton of thought into my fleets. I've been trying to find some more... like, I don't know, more test cases in terms of... in terms of how my flights... So, the main fights that I do are... I take a very historical approach to fleet combat in this game, which is basically... I don't actually fight anything that I think has even a remote chance of winning. I try and create situations in which either they have to defend too many goals to be able to dedicate their forces properly to them, or I have like a small neighbor and I just send my entire my fleets in. So essentially, like, I've gotten past the fact that I'm not very good at building fleets by keeping myself so strong that I don't actually need to worry about the fact I don't know how to build fleets. But the main thing that I've basically been doing, it's the most embarrassingly simple approach to fleet construction that I can manage. And this is, I basically make a big pyramid structure. So it's originally 1 Titan, 2 battleships, 4 cruisers, 8 destroyers, 16 corvettes. And once I get past that, I sort of start... I sort of take a similar pattern moving on. Now, if I really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of the game, here's a few things that I would consider in fleet management. I think I need to... Where are we? Ship designer. So what is it? There's the... Advanced combat systems. So Swarm Tactics. This ship will charge straight at enemies and try to deal as much damage as possible from point-blank range. Destroyers, Picket Tactics. I think you can actually change these as well. Line Tackets will hold... Right. So... If I found myself in a situation where I was facing an enemy of equal strength, the way I would approach my fleets personally would probably be based a little bit more... So first of all, what technology I have available, because obviously you want to try and cancel out any advantages your opponents have or lean into the advantages you do, i.e. So these ships are... more beam-based. So in this case, it doesn't maybe make a lot of sense to swarm. They probably should be more picket. But basically what I would try and do is I would try and build my fleets. One, I would consider my technology available, and then I would kind of build my fleets around some of these components. Try and say, okay, what strategies are they going to employ? What am I going to be able to use? Essentially, to make them like what I'm trying to look at is to multiply the benefits that I have. So if I'm very beam focused, I want to make sure that I'm adopting tactics that are most inclined towards beams. And then one of the things that I can sort of say, like, let's say somebody's focused a lot on sort of these god rays that just, like, zap things all at once. In that case, I would focus a little bit more on corvettes because there's just so many targets. Like, sure, the thing gets wiped out in one shot, but there's so many of them, and they're all specialized to taking out that target, which has, like, the one big laser beam, that it's going to be... I'm going to have a little bit more of a fighting chance than if I focused on only having a few small battleships. Or not small, but like if I had a fleet full of battleships and then somebody's like, yeah, well, I've got a weapon that basically one-shots a battleship, you're putting yourself into a tough situation. So it's a long answer, but the best I can say is that I've negated the fact that I'm not very good at fleet construction or ship construction by virtue of the fact that I use my industrial base to make myself so powerful that it doesn't matter that I have a crappy fleet. And that if I go after someone who is of equal strength, I mean, this is basic. All that I'm really doing is that I'm paraphrasing Sun Tzu, attack where the enemy's weakest, if they're stronger than you, run away. There are so many times I've beaten the AI that has a larger ship basically by dividing my fleets into small, very fast groups, and I've taken multiple planets from them. And so they basically have to turn their doom stack around, or if they split their doom stack, again, my nimble ships are able to recombine and take one of the split stacks. But with that in mind, I really, that's my second best option. My first best is I deal with an enemy that is way too weak to be able to withstand my fleets, regardless of how they're composed. So that's a lame-ass answer because, saying like that's a slightly nicer way of saying good scrub. But like it is sometimes the best military tactics are the decisions that you made like 20 years in advance to to build your empire in a way that you're able to you're able to bully your neighbors. And this is the big thing too, right? If you've got a neighbor that seems like they're getting a little bit stronger, you don't even necessarily have to go to war with them. You just need to make sure that they're paying you a tribute of the resources that they would be using to build up their own fleets. So, even as more powerful an even more powerful mass accelerator cannon that can rip through even the toughest shields. Another thing I should mention too is one of the things, sometimes my strategies seem a little weird, like these guys could be a vassal to me, but they're not because they're a buffer zone from a Aztani Guardian. So they keep giving me tribute because they know I can crush them like a grape, but I've never actually intended to invade these guys. So got my Giga Cannon, so what do I want to do next? Stormfire autocannon. That seems fun. I kind of feel this is like what it is at the Department of Defense when they're reviewing Lockheed Martin or Raytheon's catalogs or something like that. What does the Face Ripper do?
System survey complete.
All right, have a great one, Colt Diggity. I'm glad that you enjoyed Spider-Man. I will do my best to catch you. But as always, I really do appreciate it when all of you guys bring people in. But also, by the way, so I know we're really late into the game, but for some of you who do want to learn Stellaris, let me know. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer. As you can see with Colt's question, I'm not always good at answering all of them because I have my own idiosyncratic ways of playing. But I'll try, I do my best to try and explain my thought process as well as I can, so. Alright, attempts to scan the object in high-speed orbit on F-2976-1 have been unsuccessful. The object quickly falls below F-2976-1's horizon, and the ISS and Gavinonis' instruments are simply unable to keep up. While F-2976-1, it's easy for you to say, his gravitational pull is strong, that alone does little to explain the object's extreme momentum. Either the object itself possesses some extraordinary properties, or there is some gravitational phenomena at work here. The object's velocity appears to be increasing over time, and Science Officer Gab, daughter of Skeg, suspects that it may soon be thrown out of orbit, even with outside influence. So we can try to slow it down, dispatch a drone and attempt to latch onto the object to reduce its momentum, attempt to hail it, eject debris to collide with the object, hopefully stopping it in its... attempt to halt it or get away from it, move out of harm's way and leave the object to its fate. Let's try to slow it down. The drone successfully intercepted the unknown object's orbit. By latching onto the object and then thrusting in reverse little by little, the drone was eventually able to direct it to the ISS and Gavinonis for retrieval. The object looks to be some sort of box constructed of alien material. Vein-like ridges meander along its sides, congregating at the top of some type of sphere-shaped mechanism. We can only guess at the contents. We can open it, study it, or get rid of it. Let's study it.
Situation log updated.
And... alright, we're done construction, so we'll build these up. And finally, I think the X941 Singularity needs some freedom, don't you? And the music's super appropriate for it, so... how far do we... oh, I think we're almost done. That's fine, I'll queue up more dramatic music in a minute. Finally, our scientists have managed to peek into the alien box without compromising the container itself. By utilizing an advanced type of sonar, they have been able to identify its contents. The contents are puzzling, or at least unexpected. The box holds 3 small vials, each filled with an unknown liquid. The box is safe to open, but it will require further research to understand how. Well, selling it for 500 minerals and energy doesn't seem too useful, so we will open
Situation log updated.
and we will research it.
Special product complete.
The alien box is opened. At long last, our scientists have penetrated the outer material of the alien box. The 3 small vials inside are indeed filled with different liquids. 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 green. The liquids are less alien than their container, and our scientists have identified them as primed gene modification mediums. For reasons beyond our understanding, the solutions are quickly deteriorating outside their alien container, but there should be enough time to synthesize and apply one of them to our species. It has been confirmed that its effects would be positive, but exactly how remains to be seen. So we can use the red solution, the green solution, or the blue solution. Whoever donates $100 to the channel will get to decide which solution we use. Green. The green gene modification solution has been successfully administered to the Valen people. Based on preliminary observations of early subjects, the solution appears to improve our ability to adapt to the environment. I mean, it's okay, but I can already terraform, so... excellent. Let's see which strain it, okay, I can work with that. Oh, but we're now -3 for our trait points, so if I wanna mess around with it further, alright. I'll still live with it. Oh, the time has come. We're gonna slow it right down. The Titan's a nice song and all, but let's and we did just have the Imperial fleet, so I wish I could enable the gamepad for this for an appropriately cinematic approach, but for now...
Construction complete.
yeah. God, this is hard to keep in frame. Slightly different approach. Oh! Lost to bureaucracy due to major clerical error, parts of the Sprague colony have fallen behind on infrastructure maintenance and accommodation services. The people live in rather bleak conditions and will not tolerate it for long. Remedying these problems will cost us time and effort. Well, goodbye to my influence.
Construction complete.
Not much for movie shots, but I really want to keep that black hole in the frame. They're just driving by. It's like, oh, defensive platform. See ya. I wonder if we can watch it below. God, the game. We bring alarming news, Valen friends. Contact with our colony on New Balderak has been lost. They are no longer responding to any satellite transmissions, and we fear the worst. Perhaps the aliens who bombarded our original homeworld have returned to finish the job. Please send a ship to investigate. Enough! We're not your errand boys. No. We shall dispatch a ship at once.
Situation log updated.
I don't think it's timed, so we won't actually send it at once. Nope, this is looking exciting. So remember that beam that you shoot and blows everything up? That's the one I was talking about. Alright, let's see what else we're focusing on. Looks like there's a proper... Get in closer, but sadly we don't get to see the we don't get to see this station any further. Blow. Oh, come on! The end of the Tukshan Raiders, once a proud nomadic warrior culture of the the once proud nomadic warrior culture of the Tukshan are no more. Forces from the Valen polity have destroyed the last of the massive space stations that house the majority of their population. Refugees from the surviving civilian population have scattered across the galaxy. Although some Tukshan pirate and mercenary fleets may still be unaccounted for, the loss of their space dwellings is a devastating blow that they cannot recover from. This puts a definite end to their raiding. Indeed. Alright, I want to see this thing blow up. I want to see this thing blow up. Let's frame the black hole in the background too. Worth it. Apparently there's still fighting going on. Oh hey, it's another one. Okay, and that was that. Sorry if you guys don't like those slow-mo moments, but I think it's a very beautiful game, and it's fun to be able to show that off. So that whole fight, we lost 1 Corvette, and that's it. So let's get these guys to upgrade. As much as I would love to build brand new fleets, I think I'm just going to restore them to their old status. Like the old, you know, like replace the destroyer that this one. Oh, hang on, was it? Yeah, it was a destroyer. Actually, looks like it was a destroyer and a couple of Corvettes, but I don't think that's right. But yeah, we'll basically bring these up to 140. We'll figure out what to do with the additional 20 fleet capacity another time. And this construction ship. Okay, well, we can build everything in Zatar. Actually, while we're
System
at it,
survey complete.
we can build it in Brink too, because we're not going to be able to
Our ships have been upgraded.
expand. The new Cormanthe Khanate, seeing what happened to the similar nomads,
System survey complete.
are giving me minerals for food, which I'm happy about.
Incoming transmission.
Still more, huh? All right.
Construction complete.
And I do have a pretty big surplus of all of this, so let's think about how I'm going to spend it. Definitely an energy grid. All right, so Paradise Dome. And what am I lowest on? Physics, so I can do the shield generator. And I think natural population growth will be fine for these, so. And apparently one of this tile's not being developed, so we'll build a mining network here as well. Uh-oh, the vengeance of the Tuxian. A large fleet of Tuxian mercenaries has translated out of hyperspace in the Minkir system. It looks like all of the surviving Tuxian mercenary outfits were deployed elsewhere when we smashed their last space station and have put their differences aside and joined forces. We are not certain how they managed to elude our sensor cover to reach Minkir, but they are transmitting a message on an open channel. To the wretched cowards of the Valen polity, you have destroyed our homes, and we shall now burn yours. We have nothing left to lose. You have made certain of that. All we can hope for now is to die in battle and to take as many of your so-called warriors with us as possible when we journey into the great beyond. Ready your defenses! Oh boy, okay. Well, let's find something for my science ship to do first. We will investigate New Baldorak because this is a fun plot line. And I will also get them to survey the areas I want to claim. So many places pirates can come out of. Okay. I think I'm happy with that for now. Construction ship is currently idle. Let's get you to build here. And we're good, but let's find where... Holy crap. I have no idea how they got there. Where's my healthiest fleet? Well, first Star Order is still the strongest, so... Defend your brothers? Absolutely not. Build as many defense platforms as you can, my friends. Your life depends on it.
Construction complete.
Okay, what do I want to do with this guy? 37. Yeah, I can work with this. I mean, they said they were on their way. I don't actually see them. I'm gonna be mad if I send my fleets all the way to Minkir, only to find out that they're not.
We have claimed a new world for our people.
Speaking of new worlds, how close are... Oh, man, we're so close to... We're probably gonna win before we have to worry about any of this. Although I will still open the... Even if I win before we open the L gate. Like, what I've done now is I've cleared out my last... I've kind of cleared out my last obstacles to investigating the L gates. Who died? Governor Fald. Let's get you a replacement. Just trying to think the best way to... So yeah, definitely upgrading all of my fleets is where I want to go. I think I'm going to still have to take the first Star Order to the... to Minkir, just in case there are some shenanigans that the
Our
Tuction
ships have
play.
been upgraded.
Okay, looks like quite a few of our guys
We have
are
mastered a new technology.
already taken care of. Gateway construction. The construction of new gateway stations enables us to build fast travel network that could revolutionize interstellar travel. I thought I skipped
Colonization
that,
efforts
but
begun.
okay. Arc emitter seems pretty cool. It's another offensive weapon, so we'll go for that.
Construction complete.
We will build a new starbase. Now my influence is suffering a little bit.
System survey complete.
I want you here.
Construction complete.
Oh no! Another scientist gone. Okay, first thing I want to do is take a look at who is... This guy was just doing some exploration. I might as well flip him out. So this guy's younger, but this guy has the bonus to survey speed, which I want. So we will carry on with that. This construction ship's idle, so we will send it to... I think I will build on it. Well, no, let's not do that. Let's get him to just build mining stations. This construction ship, right? Right. Everything else is good.
System survey complete.
What else can we do? Okay, well I can start replacing the things that were lost. So, where is the station? One destroyer, please. Everybody else sort of seems to be in
Our
decent
ships have
shape.
been upgraded.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of these fleets to greet
Our ships have been upgraded.
whatever comes out of the... I think it was the Devil's Maw was where we were researching. Either way, we'll figure out what terrible things are going to come after us when the time comes. I'm also looking for any more gates that I haven't really opened up yet, but
System
it looks
survey
like they're all
complete.
L gates.
Construction complete.
Except for Jasmac, but I think I'm already... Yep, we're already working on that.
Construction complete.
Okay, I'm going to build mining and research stations here. This is mostly just because I'm really short on my my influence at the moment. This is going to be one that I give to the sector just so they can colonize it. Same deal with Bindur. At the moment, I'm really focused on so priority right now, because I haven't explored all the, I haven't explored all of the sectors, or all the stars. Ones that will close off little gaps are currently getting the priority. So Bintu is a good example of something that I want to expand out to, as well as these two planets. Whereas something like this, I do eventually want to expand into and close up, but I obviously don't have enough influence to be able to do that right now. And one of the reasons why I'm generating less than what I normally would is because the Valen preservation movement, let's see, ensuring all pops have the exact same genetic traits. Well, that we can fix right away.
Situation log updated.
That's a very easy way for me to get some of my points back. And the Red Legion, I don't think they're going to be happy unless I'm invading people. Yeah. Alright, power has been restored to the derelict gateway that was found in the Minox system. It has been connected to the rest of the gateway network and is now fully operational. So the challenge here is the placement of the gateways really are just, you know, they're taking me from Izta up to Akamar and Minox.
Our ships have been upgraded.
None of these are too exciting, to be completely honest. But I don't really get to pick most of that.
System survey complete.
Gonna take a second to get into
new technology.
Build and Stormfire autocannon. The advanced rotary autocannons are capable of spewing a cloud of high explosive shells at a target.
Our ships have been upgraded.
Let's go for the hull points. They're cheap and
Our
they
ships
help
have been
survivability. A lot of ships getting their upgrades complete, just in time for me to do a new set of upgrades, of course. Our investigation of New Baldorak has revealed nothing out of the ordinary. The satellite the colony used to communicate within the capital is still functional as far as we can tell. Open a channel to the planet. Greetings from the New Baldorak Revolutionary Front. We have thrown off the yoke of oppression and are free at last from the tyranny of the Baldorak. We have no quarrel with you, Valen, as long as you refrain from aiding the Baldorak imperialists in their inevitable attempt to crush our revolution. You could help us take the fight to our enemies, however. Would you be willing to deliver one of our commando units to Baldorak? Tell us what you have planned. We want to infiltrate Baldorak with one of our elite commando units. They will incite a popular uprising against the decadent elite that lords over our people. After the tyrants have been deposed, all Dathnak will at last know what it is to have true freedom. A straightforward plan if there ever was one, Valen. We are not getting involved in your internal dispute. Of course you're not. We wouldn't want the revolution to spread, we wouldn't want the revolution to spread to all the oppressed masses in your tyrannical empire. Can't have that. Normally I do actually allow the revolution to go on, because I find it's probably one of my favorite event chains, but...
Incoming transmission.
Minerals for food is a good deal for me. Baldorak responds. I speak on behalf of the lawful Dathnak government on Baldorak. We have received a manifesto from a group that seized control of New Baldorak, and boy, what a bunch of hogwash. These brigands and anarchists are a terrible embarrassment to us. Valen, will you help us stomp out their little revolution before it spreads here and someone actually gets hurt? General Pathnak has prepared an expeditionary force to retake the colony, but we'll need help transporting it there. I'm really debating on, because there's a side of me that just wants to see what happens if they don't do anything, or if I don't do anything, but I also kind of want to see, again, one of the biggest things for me is I kind of want to see where the madness goes, and I'm a little scared that if I say I won't help them, that there won't be any, like, I won't get these guys again. Like, for those of you who don't remember, these are the gaseous beings that we found on a planet once that asked us for help to go to their, like, to a new gas giant. And they have just been constantly asking stuff for us, like, over and over and over again. And it's a little annoying, but it's also really fun. And I kind of don't want this quest line to end. So, does anybody have opinions? And how are you doing, Letterby? Sorry, I think I said that before, but I'm genuinely torn. Can I take a quick look at Jasmak while I can see it? Yes, we are building. I mean, I could go into the you can actually go into the files and see how the whole thing works, but I think I might do it. Carry it on? Yeah, you know what? Screw it. We shall help you.
Situation log updated.
We knew we could count on you, Valen. These rebels won't know what hit them. In fairness, I don't think I've ever actually helped the government, so wait, where's the science ship? What are these other ones doing? Okay, good. I can live with that. You should be getting an upgrade. I mean, I was promised fire and fury on Minkir. But it seems like the
Construction complete.
The bad guys aren't actually going to show up. So.
We have mastered a new technology.
Gradual adaptation to the realities of deep space combat allows us to
ships have been
effectively coordinate
upgraded.
larger maneuvers. Alright, let's figure out what we're going to do here. I mean, another Ascension perk in 54 months. That's not bad. It's probably the fastest I can get it, to be completely honest. Let me go for a hydroponics farm real quick. Just because it'll give me something to dump my resources into, but I think I will go for another Ascension perk once it becomes available again. Oh god, this is going to take forever.
Construction complete.
Okay, what am I going to do with you? More mining and research stations. Honestly, at this point, I think the first fleet's gonna... I'm gonna get it to get an upgrade. Minkir will have
Our ships have been upgraded.
full capacity defenses.
System survey complete.
Not too long. Alright, let's upgrade this starbase to a citadel. We can now add our trading hub.
Construction complete. System survey complete.
Probably want to reconsider some of these shipyards because we inherited some of these from the previous...
Special product complete.
we inherited some of these shipyards from the old empire, and I didn't really spend any time upgrading them. But, you know. The thing is that I'm not really losing a whole lot in, like, energy or mineral losses, so there's less of a reason for me to spend the time, like, upgrading and micromanaging all of that, just because there's other things that I can sort of do with the time. Alright, I think we've been building a bunch of black sites to get the Unity bonus. Unless we get something like a Nebula refinery or something like that, but... Oh, Jesus, I haven't been using this thing at all. Let's give you some more trading hubs and another anchorage. We'll figure out what to do with them. Well, you know what? We'll seal the deal. And... shouldn't you get a naval logistics office? Oh, I don't have the money for it. Several freighters under escort by the ISS Angavinonis have dropped the cargo canisters carrying the Dathnak Expeditionary Force into New Baldurak's atmosphere. Moments later, flashes can be seen coming from beneath the gas giant's cloud layer. The fighting appears to have started. Now we wait and see what happens next. Okay, close down the star bases for a bit. In the meantime, let's take that idle construction ship first. Okay, so what I want to do here, I'm going to add these to the sector. This is because there's colonizable planets. If there's no colonizable planets, I kind of want to hang on to these, hang on to them. And we will expand you out. Okay, this science ship. Again, the ideal is to explore everything that's a potential source of pirates. Which means I have a little bit of a tour ahead of me, but it's not like I'm using my... It's not like I'm really using my...
for our people. Our ships have been upgraded.
I'm not really using these resources
Our
for
ships
anything
have
else.
been
So.
upgraded.
Okay. Expeditionary Force seizes control. General Pathnak here, speaking from New Baldurak. Operation Gaseous Fury has been a complete success. All primary objectives have been seized, and government control has been restored to all atmospheric sectors. Aside from a few holdouts, most rebel units have surrendered or have been routed. Much obliged for the support, Valens. If you'll excuse me, I need to transmit a casualty report to Baldurak. Pathnak out. A well-executed operation. Okay, first Star Order is on their way to upgrading, but I think let's not stand on ceremony. The rest of the fleets. Well, before I go any further,
Our ships have been upgraded.
yeah, it's Devil's Maw. So in this case, we will gather everyone for the special occasion. Power has been restored to the derelict gateway that was found on the Jasmak system. It has now been connected to the rest of the gateway network and is now fully operational. Good news.
Our ships have been upgraded.
Okay, so the first Star Order needs a new destroyer, I think it was. Yes. They should be able to join the... opening ceremony once this is done. And of course, the nice thing is if something really terrible comes out of the Devil's Maw, I should be able to,
Incoming transmission.
I will always take your minerals, sir. In the worst case scenario, I should be able to... like, you know, if I lose a whole bunch of units, I should just be able to rebuild my fleets into something cool.
Construction complete.
If it turns out to be a little bit tougher than I anticipated. Let's switch these guys around. All right, democratic ruler election. I don't need to worry about any. I don't need to worry about any undesirables becoming the leader, so I'll let that run its course. Seeing as the alternative is to spend money or spend influence I don't have, manipulating the outcome.
Construction complete.
I will try very gradually to plug the holes in my empire. And one way I'm going to slow down the expansion, because this is pushing the borders out where I should be focusing on closing up any gaps that I have in my existing territories. I'm going to make sure that I build up my infrastructure before I push the borders out any further, because we've got something of a nice kind of line here. There's ways we can improve it, but we have detected the presence of a primitive alien civilization on Escog in the Karanis system. They have advanced to the equivalent of the Iron Age and have divided into numerous petty kingdoms and empires. The species is spread across almost the entire surface of the planet. We should consider building an observation post above their world to study them more closely. And that's not too far away from my borders. I wouldn't, I'm not